Hello, we hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another esports news episode. We hope you guys all enjoy all of today's stories, which will be timestamped down below as per usual. And as always, let's get into it. And first off, in big CSGO news out there, of course, we had our 6-year anniversary, our 6th birthday of CSGO celebrated last night. I know a lot of you guys were expecting some big updates to come into the game, and well, they didn't. Unfortunately enough, all the big updates and big cool things are going to Dota 2, which seems to be Gabe's, I guess we'll talk about that when that section comes, but it seems that CSGO is definitely not the golden child of Valve's products here, but I guess you could say a decently cool update for our 6th anniversary, our 6 years of existence for CSGO. We got increased chickens, and we got the MP5 now released into Wingman. It's not competitive play quite yet, but it's actually been released to Wingman for testing, so I guess that's kind of cool. But again, when we come to Dota 2 section, you guys will come to find out that I think Gaben actually really just loves Dota 2 so much more than CSGO, and on top of that, more disappointment as we continue to wait for Face It sticker release. If it will not be 12 hours by the time this video is uploaded, if it won't be 12 hours within then, it's probably not going to be until next week. So again, Face It continue to tease many things out there. We also kind of want to bring back up a post which is actually further deleted back in June by Face It themselves when they had announced they were going to actually host the major. They did announce this tweet on screen about potential Face It gloves coming for the major. Now this likely will not be an actual in-game item, but be for a spectator model. If you guys watch Starladder events, they actually have these team gloves as well. So that's what the obvious rumor is right now. If they were to release into the game, the current gloves would decrease in value immensely, but still some decent updates coming for CSGO. Hopefully the big one, that being Face It stickers, will be here by Friday's episode. If not, then it won't be until next week, and I'm sure that we've already waited long enough, and hopefully it's going to be worth that wait. Now, not too many changes coming from any teams out there in the CSGO scene as we approach DreamHack Stockholm, the last tournament before the major. Not many teams really changing their rosters besides one big change out there announced a couple days ago. It will be now Temcomo, no longer now Temcomo. They will continue now as Team No Tag because they have now lost their owner FNX, of course known for his personal issues. I guess you could say maybe the butting heads of some of his former teammates, but alongside that he has apparently benched himself for personal reasons, and alongside that Bit will also join him on the bench. They've been replaced by 2 players. That will be ex-Immortal Horvey as well as Gaming member, that's going to be Zan joining the team. So ironically enough, on paper it's going to be a pretty big hit to the team if you do say they lose a huge IGL, they lose their owner, and again they also lose their team name. Looking for organizations to sign them as FNX and Bit have now joined the bench. You look for the future of this team and be hopeful for it, but again you really can't expect much. I'm going to be very curious to see where these guys end up, especially in the next few months. So that's it for CSGO changes, hopefully more coming soon, and cross your fingers that by Friday we have Face It stickers. And like I said previously with Gabe news, I guess today's all about Gaben, guys, in Dota 2, which apparently is his favorite game because actually we have a huge announcement. It's actually very cool for all you Dota 2 Battle Pass owners, and we'll talk about exactly why this is very funny in a second here. We have a new announcement of a mega kill voice pack from Gaben himself. I'm going to show you guys a clip. The funny clip, of course, is probably going to be changed up in the future, and this actually is a legitimate announcement. This will be happening for all Battle Pass owners. They will receive a mega kill voice pack voiced over by Gaben, but here's a clip of that recording.
Okay, Gabe, how are we feeling today?
Good.
Okay, great. Okay, so today we are doing the Gabe Newell Mega Kills Pack.
Yeah, there's only about 15 lines, so it's going to take what?
30 minutes?
30 minutes,
30
yeah.
minutes. Should be really easy, okay? Let's have some fun.
Okay.
Okay, great. Our first line is going to be First Blood, all right? Go ahead, whenever you're ready.
Hello, I'm Gabe Newell. You've just achieved First Blood. Thanks and have fun.
And why this is so funny, because ironically enough, this is actually what broke this year's TI. For the first time ever in international history, we have now broken $25 million in prize pools, and this is actually what broke it. There was a sudden sharp rise so far of $150,000 to $200,000 because people are already biting those battle passes because of course, the new Mega Kill voice pack done over by Gaben himself, the owner, pretty much you could say the founder of Valve themselves. So of course, a pretty big announcement here. It's just funny enough to see that this year's TI needed to break 25 million to probably, you know, convince people that the game is still growing or the prize pools have a future hope, and they've released all out in the game right now. This is actually them going all out because Gabe himself had to do a voiceover to break 25 million. I'm not complaining. It sounds like a very cool thing, but on top of that, the more important news for all you TI8 fans, we enter day 3 of the main event, and we have some great things going on. Of course, we have Virtus Pro taking on Optic Gaming. Optic Gaming's dream run begins now. If it's going to be at all possible, guys, at all possible for Optic, they need to, of course, beat Virtus Pro today. Then they probably face the the winner of probably going to be Team Secret or VGJ Storm, because one of those two teams is probably going to make it out of that lower bracket scene right there. And then on top of that, they play the losers of EG and OG, or Liquid, and alongside that LGD. So a long road to go for Optic, but still, I'm not convinced they're out yet, but it's going to be a miracle run if anything happens. Please leave a comment down below who you guys are cheering for. Day 3 goes on today, but on top of that, we have 4 great matches going on today. So of course, Virtus Pro Optic Gaming, we have Secret versus Vici, we have EG versus OG, and on top of that, Liquid LGD. So gonna be some great matches going on today, guys, to watch, and hopefully Dota 2 TI continues to, of course, fix those production issues, which actually have been fixed over the last day or so. Looking good and very fun, and yes, we actually have our own voice pack by Gabe Newell. And also for all you Skirmish fans out there, the first news announced this week for Skirmish Week 7, of course, that will be this Friday, but even bigger news for Week 8. That will be the last week of the Skirmish series, which I think has gone over pretty well. Overall, an $8 million prize pool, and Week 8 will be $1.5 million in prizes, and it's now been announced it will be at PAX West. So all your favorite YouTubers or streamers will probably be traveling. If they are going, they actually have to travel. There's a lot of debate right now at, how you're actually going to, how this event's going to go itself. Of course, PAX notoriously is known for an entertainment event. It's not known to actually put on this kind of show, so it's gonna be very curious to see how this does work out, especially when you send all these pro players to this arena. And on top of that, they're gonna have 3 days of qualifiers as well, so the top 33 players of each day will actually compete at PAX West. But it's gonna be cool to see as well how these players do travel when they send in equipment, what resolution they're forced to play at. There's a lot of debate right now how this is gonna go, especially it being the final week of Skirmish series. We're just gonna cross your fingers and hopefully it goes better than Week 1 and 2 did. Now also on top of that, we had Ninja releasing a special announcement last night. I'm not exactly sure why I'm talking about this, but he did announce with his own supply drop. If you guys did not see the video itself, he got his own supply drop, which is really cool to see, of course in partnership with Galaxy. If you guys know the Galaxy Samsung, just coming out with their new phone, and apparently you can play Fortnite on it. Although if you look at many clips so far that's actually been played on the phone, there are actually many people who have struggled to play Fortnite on the phone itself. Although when you watch Ninja play, they didn't show any spectacular kills. Of course, it's a partnership, so if you guys want to spend $999 to get the phone, this is actually a pretty good deal, because with iPhones being so expensive, they have now announced this. For $999, we can just call it $1,000, you get the phone and of course the noise canceling headset, or you get the phone with the Galaxy skin and 15,000 V-Bucks. I can already hear the tens of thousands of kids running to their parents trying to order this, because that's actually a pretty decent deal, especially given of course the Fortnite majority viewership out there, audience out there. I can already see all the teens, preteens getting their phones right now with 15,000 V-Bucks. That's actually a pretty big steal. So on top of that as well, we do have some minor announcements for the future of competitive play in Fortnite. That will actually be, of course, last week for a short amount of time we saw Rifts go away from the game. It does seem to be preluding to an update. Of course, they actually let us know ahead of time when these updates will come, and coming soon apparently is going to be portable Rifts to the game itself, which I think the faster you can travel with the ATK, of course that being updated a while ago now, earlier this summer, I think the faster you can travel, any update like that definitely makes the game better. So apparently portable Rifts are next up for Fortnite, and cross your fingers that this week 7, especially Week 8, can finish off the Skirmish series nicely for Fortnite. And not too much news as of right now for League of Legends. I do want to let you guys know for Friday's episode, we're going to predict both NALCS and EULCS playoffs, which do start this weekend. I'm very excited about that. And on top of that, we're also going to announce some bigger things with 8.17. Apparently, patch notes have been tentatively released, and we're going to talk about that, break those down, because it was actually Riot taking to YouTube, I think it was a couple weeks ago, saying they were going to stop the big changes, although 8.17 seems to be a big change for all the Rise players out there, as well as Yi players. There's apparently a big Yi buff, and alongside that, a Rise nerf coming in. Alongside that, some other balancing changes, not too big of changes, but there are a lot of competitive teams and of course pro teams who play Rise, and apparently this is actually a pretty big change, a pretty big nerf to his character. We'll break that down on Friday. And as of right now, guys, the only League of Legends news out there, NALCS tiebreakers have finished up for seeding for playoffs. Their matches on screen for all of you. Alongside that, of course, EULCS tiebreakers finished up earlier this week as well, before NI even did, so there are their matchups for playoffs. I am so excited to watch that this weekend, guys, as many of these teams are dire to actually earn their world points as well to actually qualify for Worlds. One of those 3 teams to go through, Cloud9 being one of those teams who has to do decently well to actually make it, and I cannot wait to watch this weekend playoffs begin. And also in very big Overwatch news, we talked about this the past few weeks. It does seem, for now, xQc has been cleared to play for the Overwatch World Cup.
I had some news. We're all clear for World Cup as long as we don't fuck up.
as long as he doesn't mess it up, which knowing him, he could possibly still do, but as of right now, he will be their main tank, or one of their tank players for the Overwatch World Cup qualifier. And speaking of tank players out there, it does seem a huge change. Of course, if you guys were here for Monday's episode, we saw the world champion coach himself, that being Chang, has been let go by Spitfire out of nowhere. No real release, no real, I guess you could say, no real thing in the post besides thanking him for his time with the team. As to why he left the team, was it internal issues? Where is he going next? Which you can possibly believe he will be signed by someone by the end of this this trade period. But on top of that, in bigger news, we have one of the best tanks in the world, that being Fissure from the Gladiators, has now been traded away directly to Seoul Dynasty. And this is actually an amazing news as well, because not only is one of the world's best known and well-known tanks out there currently, but Dynasty, one of the rosters out there who actually only had 11 players, they have to drop no one to pick him up. An automatic improvement with one of the best tanks we know of, guys. So big thing is coming for Seoul Dynasty. Will they make more changes, though, is probably the real question going forward, and I cannot wait to announce bigger changes, hopefully coming soon, as we've officially probably entered that 1 to 2 month period of teams making their changes necessary for next season to start. And also, very lastly, Rocket League news out there. Not too much happening, but we did miss some news Monday. So thanks to the commenter who actually corrected us on this. It was Miho who announced last week, Friday, I believe. It was some big news coming soon. We didn't catch that news, and apparently we were kind of questioning how big it really could be, but it was some substantial news for him alongside his teammate Dapper. If you guys watched the Season 2 Universal Qualifiers, these guys actually qualified for the Grand Finals happening very soon here for that Season 2 Universal together. It was Dapper and Miho playing as Team Momentum, and they have now been signed by Selfless for the Grand Finals over there, which I cannot wait to see. It's just kind of weird because these esports, Rocket League is very different from other esports because you can sign teams and partners and trios for such limited amounts of time and for 1 or 2 tournaments here and there. Most other esports, it's kind of a long period of time. So congrats to these guys for being signed. They were actually unaffiliated earlier. Of course, Miho being a sub for G2, and now they actually get signed for this tournament. It's very cool to see that other organizations like G2 allow these guys to be signed for individual events, and I cannot wait to see how they do, as those 8 teams will compete for that 1 grand prize at Season 2 Universal. Now, also, bouncing out that, guys, we do have big announcements for all you guys who want to enter this year's Collegiate Rocket League, as it does return with increased prize pools. This year is $75,000 in scholarships. If you guys do want to compete, of course, registration links will be down below. There's going to be 4 regional qualifiers, guys, and $50,000 in prizes spread across all those regional qualifiers. And if you do somehow make it to the 4 final teams, there's additional $25,000 in prizes for those 4 final competitors. So very, very cool to see. Increased prize pool once again for Collegiate Rocket League. So for all of you guys who are trying to go to college or trying to go to school and want to earn some great prizes, the registration links will be down below. So hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Esports News. If we missed anything, comment down below. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, and we'll see you on Friday for a big episode and hopefully some breaking news for all of you. And until then, I'll see you then.